For those who haven't seen where I last left off, I did go and we have a second driver. The second driver actually has my really nice truck, um, just because of all that. See, I unironically enjoyed the heck out of this game. Oh yeah, like I went to play it on the channel like one time just as like a fun thing. I was like, actually, this is a lot of fun. It's just such a relaxed game. So I'm sitting at 105. I want to save up for like a properly like nice truck for my next truck. So what I've had my other person doing is my other person is running like just driving around the truck I bought. And I'm just doing the missions where I run around because this is like taking a job and it still pays me like 50,000 because of all the levels. So it is a nice thing we've got going. So yeah, so you just kind of take a mission. They offer you money. There's leveling mechanics. You upgrade your trucks and all that. Right now I'm doing random quick jobs. Um, but it's just you're shipping stuff. All right, so I need to keep in mind that we have a real heavy load in this truck. I did turn down the amount of detours we get because I did run the situation where you're like, okay, I'm basically after my destination after like 700 miles. And it goes, oh, you need to turn here because of detour. Okay, well, I'll just do another 250 miles, I guess. So I turned those down. They're not turned off, but they're turned down. I did turn up bad weather, though. Because the bad weather's actually kind of cool. And I did mess with the in-game radio off-stream. I'm not going to do it on-stream because DMCA. If I do that, that'll absolutely 100% mute the VOD. Because it is in-game sound and all that. Alright. Gonna get our cruise control, and we can just start checking it out. But the game, it takes place by default in Southwest US. There's all that kind of stuff. So California, Arizona, Utah. You can get DLC that adds like Washington, Oregon, that kind of area. They are expanding the game east. Up. I got a thing to adjust my cruise control by 5 miles per hour, but it's hitting a button. Yeah, it's just a very relaxing game. Because I figured I wanted to do that just versus 2 more hours of Prison Architect of just watching me build the cell block kind of thing, which we'll get back to. I think we'll keep doing that run. I'll see how far I can go, and if it's still like we keep expanding the prison and we still keep being safe, you know, we'll just keep escalating what kind of prisoners I take. We also, with the thing, I guess I should remind people, so we got a couple things going on the channel that I should bring up. The first one is I do have a poll on the Discord, so ! Discord, in the announcements channel, where I got a list of games and I'm like, hey, what would you like to see me play on the channel that we are taking a vote for? I do want to get as much participation as possible, so as many people who normally tune in can, weigh in. That way get that, because right now, while we've got a decent number of people who started weighing in, it's still a very small subset of the community. I should have slowed down more. It's totally fine. It's still a very small subset of the community if we're talking raw numbers kind of thing. So I would like to try and get as many people as I can. Where is my thing that tells me what my cruise control is set to? Guess I just don't have one in this vehicle. Alright, that was not the smoothest one. At least we didn't off-road a whole bunch. But, so I've got that vote going on. It is in the announcement channel. But like I said, just trying to get as much weighing in as possible. Yeah, do I really not have anything on the dash that shows me what I set my miles to? Alright. Alright, and we got a closed lane up here. Some of the other things we've got going on is we have set up a Patreon and a Ko-Fi for the channel. So those who are looking to toss in extra support, I know there's a lot of you who want to do that without throwing more money at Amazon, because Amazon does take a 50% cut of subs. We do have those set up. Totally optional if you want to do them. The only thing they give you is the same kind of access that subs give on the Discord, which is there is a sub channel. Um, Sub channel is basically I have a discount code for merch and all that there, and people can have a conversation there. That's just kind of an extra bonus. I wanna come up with more stuff that I can do for those who sub and all that. Is just kind of extra value. You know, more bang for their buck kind of thing. We do have merch. That's straightforward. Exclamation mark merch. And I think that's everything. There's also going to be more sponsored content coming up down the road. Sponsored games, to be clear. I haven't taken like HelloFresh and Factor 75 and all that since very early on in streaming. Like, nothing wrong with them. It just I'd rather do sponsorships that are like games or game hardware or stuff that, you know, most likely align with what people would be interested in wanting to see so far as that. But that can be very important for a channel because I've gone through and like not given exact numbers on the finances or anything like that. But when it comes to the number of viewers I pull in and everything, and you know, roughly the numbers, you know, subs and all that kind of stuff, if we take an entire month's worth of subs, doing like one sponsored stream pays more. What is my cruise control set to? Okay, I think it's set to 75 now. I don't like this truck because, as far as I can tell, I don't see anywhere on the dash that's telling me what my cruise control is set to. Dash, yep. Yep, and it's not that sponsors pay a lot, it's rather in the other end that subs and all that pay very little. The classic, the base price for subs is generally $5. It does go down to something like $1.50 depending on where you're located in the world. And then Twitch takes a 50% cut. So assuming we got $5, I get $2.50. So when you look at a thing, you go, man, you got 100 subs. That's cool. That's like $250 for a full month. It's not a lot to live off of. And that isn't me asking for money. It's just the more that's like, this is why I do sponsors. Sponsors, what they pay varies incredibly wildly. Because not a long time, early on in the stream when I was still chasing partner, I had only been affiliate for a little while. I did have someone accuse me of like selling out because I did a sponsored stream for a game. And it's kind of like scratching my head going, but I'd probably play this game anyway. I don't understand. I mean, I've honestly come to the point, if someone were to hop in nowadays and like genuinely be upset and be like, how dare you play Timberborn? How dare you play that, sir? How dare you take their money? It's like, but I was gonna play it anyways. I've been talking about it for weeks. It's like, what? Why am I not allowed to eat? I don't understand. I'm just gonna go by the assumption that they're jealous. Yeah, video games are kind of what you do. Like, I get if I did, like... And I won't even blame someone for taking, like, Raid Shadow Legends sponsors. I won't. Because I won't take stuff that, in my opinion, have predatory practices. But, like, at the same time, it's like, hey, I get it. You know, the electric bill is not going to be paid by your integrity. You know, obviously you want to have integrity. But if you're looking at this going, yep, I can't pay my bills this month, sometimes you have to do stuff you're not excited about doing. I haven't had to do that myself, but I, you know, come from having a career in software dev, and then, you know, a wife who works a pretty good job herself. So, you know, pretty okay. Yeah, those crappy mobile gambling games annoy me. Yeah, I've had a few times that people said, hey, I'd love to see you play, and it'll be like a gacha game, and it's like, okay. And it'll be like, but it's not that predatory. I'm like, right, but you said gacha game, which means you're at least talking a certain level of predatory right out the gate, because they're already using psychological manipulation of the loot box style mechanic. That's what gacha is. You're getting that dopamine hit for pushing the button, whether or not the results are what you actually want. Like, it's cool if you're down with it, but be careful. That stuff will get you. Yeah, I'd love to see you spend money. Well, I definitely am not gonna do one of those things. Like, if it is a game that there's microtransactions, like microtransaction kind of heavy game, I definitely am not going to like show like and I don't fall for it, like the Diablo Immortal thing, where there were people who were like deliberately saying like, you know, they were keeping a tally of how much they had spent on the game, and be like, do I recommend this game? No, I have spent this obscene amount of money, you know, demonstrating the problems with this game. And it's like, I mean, I still think we shouldn't be advertising it, but there is a certain logic there in showing this is how bad this gets. Don't do it. Don't start. But I wouldn't do that. Like, even if, like, they... I mean, I wouldn't say there's a limit, because that's just disingenuous. Like, if right now Raid Shadow Legends showed up and said, yo, we're gonna drop $1 million if you do a stream of our game, the answer is gonna be yes, because $1 million freaking dollars. I could sell out once for $1 million freaking dollars and then never have to do that kind of thing ever again. And of course, I'm gonna have the terms that I can still be honest about it, and I'm probably gonna make fun of it the entire way through and go, why on earth did they give me $1 million? That makes no sense. And then we can all have a laugh about it. That's those ones you're like, what'd I do? I got a bunch of money. Alright, bus. I'm gonna sneak in front of you. Yeah, that's right. Back off. Taking that lane. But it is surprising how relaxing this game is. It's also a good game if you're trying to go to sleep at night. The white noise side of this is really good for listening to as background noise. Especially when you turn the engine down just a little bit, because the engine default sound inside the cabin is heckin' loud. At least it is to me. Looks like we're driving over to LA. Now, this is what California looks like to me, what I'm seeing right here, which is just kind of brownish tan with spots of kind of dragged out green. There's like, that's what things in California do have, like all sorts of different things represent. You got like lush green mountains, you got desert, you've got snow covered hilltops, you've got deep forest. Like, that's the reasons why the movie industry is over there. Is what scene do they need? They can probably find some place in there that fits that look. So that's a curve off this way, so this is my exit. I need to cut back in the engine a bit so we don't damage our truck slapping into a guardrail. One of the bummers is once you get into California, the speed limit is going to be 55 for us. And that's just the way California works, is that trucks have a reduced speed limit compared to other vehicles to reduce wear and tear on the road. And it works. But when you're driving the truck in the game, you're like, oh, I'd want to go the extra 20. Come on. But we're good for a bit longer. We also have the online thing where it will it'll replace billboards with stuff that people have designed. It's not open to like everyone, like you just don't submit whatever. It's that they can add and change signs as stuff goes on. This is my exit. I'm glad there wasn't another truck behind me because we definitely just cut across lanes. It's fine. I'm a truck hauling like 50,000 pounds. If I say I'm going this way, that's the way I'm going. there isn't another vehicle on the road that can prevent me from going that direction. Alright, give me my green light. $45, $50, $55, $60, $65. And cruise control should be set to 65. Most of the trucks you can actually see on the dash in this game what your cruise control is set to. I'm actually pretty disappointed that this one, as far as I can see, there isn't a place to see it. Now maybe it's underneath my GPS thing in the bottom right. It might just be this particular model, that's just the way it is. Alright, I can switch lanes, no one's over here, so we can get out of the left lane. Yeah, for those who didn't see the list of games we do have on the Discord that we currently have up for vote, American Truck Simulator is one of those games. It's doing pretty good. We have playing through Dark Souls. We're talking like starting with like Dark Souls 1. In this case, we're talking the remastered. I've played both, I own both, but no reason not to play the remastered. But, you know, play through a bunch of those. I don't know if we'll get through Elden Ring. Like, we'll see. That is outside the normal stuff I do play on the channel, but no reason not to. Prison Architect, which is what we played today, we'll play more of that. The Sims, or that's the Sims 4, I should specify. I'll probably do some kind of challenge. I actually don't know what I'm going to do with that one, but it keeps popping up. Ooh, slow down, slow down, slow down. Okay. It's going into that a little hot. But, like, we'll probably, in the Sims 4, we'll, come with some kind of challenge. I don't know what it is. I don't know what people do for challenges and that. It's just something to goof off, and the numbers well, I already have a red light violation, so fine. I didn't stop in time for the red light, so I got in trouble for running a red. Luckily in this one, they just give you a fine, and they don't, you know, put points in your license or some other way to prevent you from doing this again and again. That's 30, 35, 40, 45... 50, 55, and I think we're in California. Nope, 65. Okay. I saw it at 55, and I was like, oh, guess we're in California now. I put Red Dead Redemption 2 on there, which would be playing the story, like a brand new start of the story. That one I'm a little leery of. Like, I want to do it because the story in that game is amazing. My only hesitation is it does jump on a number of heavy topics. Which can get a little tricky, and I don't mean heavy as in like emotional. It does have that, but I'm less worried about that kind of thing. You know, it does depict a time of the world where they did things that are very not acceptable now, and it doesn't do so in a way that glorifies those things. If anything, a lot of times when it presents it, you look at it and they kind of depict it as like how awful it was, but that is a hesitation. Oh, we're dropping down to 40, so... Okay. I've got Raft on the list. People know what Raft is. Raft is... It's gonna be played like Raft, because it's Raft. Oh, would you stop lowering the speed limit on me, please? I've got RimWorld on the list, which, no surprise, that one's doing really well. Which I don't know what type of run we'll be doing in RimWorld, but it'll be, you know, it'll be RimWorld. I put Fallout 76 on the list. Surprisingly, no one has voted for that. Which is actually interesting, because Fallout 76 has been doing okay on Twitch lately, which was interesting. They tend to display it in a comedic light, laughing all with yeah. So they do that, and then they also have times where like, yeah, the main protagonist Arthur Morgan, and like you'll have someone who'll say something sexist. I'll be like, oh come on, man, like you don't need to be like that. So like he'll kind of call people out on like he won't be like why are you being whatever the word is like hey she's good why you gotta be like that like he'll kind of be like hey you're being a jerk stuff like that. They do a pretty good job of it. But there is like for example there is a mission that involves going against the KKK where they do use the N-word. And it's one of those things that like that as well as ones I'm kind of going, you know what? When that thing like that happens, I'll probably mute the game audio for that because it doesn't matter if in the context it works. I still don't want that on my channel. But the rest of the game is really good. And if I felt like super duper confident in myself or it was like a YouTube video, I would have no problem with like doing it and having like where you can go over to the thing and you do like the whole bleep that you do on like television or whatever. But I'm not confident I can pull that off reliably. So it'd be one of those ones that once I was aware I was coming up on that mission, because it's not a lot of times that happens. It's only very specific places. So I'd want to not do that. That's the only reason like I'm cagey with that, is that's when I would want to because I played through the whole story. Like I said, I enjoyed the story. It's a great game. It is an amazing story. It's just, I still want certain things not to be on my channel. And then the last way on the list is playing World of Warcraft in hardcore, which would only be a week. I would potentially do that because I'm not paying to re-up a subscription. But they're doing a thing where like, we'll give you a free week. It's like, okay. So for those who haven't seen what the World of Warcraft hardcore thing going on right now is, it's kind of thing a whole bunch of people are finding interesting. Is you play World of Warcraft as if it was like a roguelike or roguelike, whatever you want to say, hardcore game. So you start your character, if at any point you die, and it doesn't, like soul stoning does not count as living, reincarnation does not count as living, and bubble hearth has also been called out. Is the world PvP on? No, because otherwise you just get stream sniped. So it'll be like a PvP or a PvE server or whatever. Yeah, you might be new here, Dash. But you'll find it's very rarely that I do competitive games or PvP stuff. Because especially, again, with like stream sniping and garbage like that, I just don't want to deal with it. Because genuinely, I kind of got tired of a lot of things. Like, the PvP and world, like, MMORPGs not really bothering me much. But, competitive games, I got just so tired of the toxicity everywhere. That, like, you'd be on the winning team, you'd be a positive KDR, the whole team would be a positive KDR, and, like, everything had been going smoothly, and you'll have someone on your own team who will be saying, like, all sorts of incredibly awful things to you, and you're just like, but why? Oh, this is bad. For the record, that is the first time in this game I've actually done that. To this point, I hadn't rear-ended anyone on any level, let alone on, people probably died level. Yeah, I was say, in real life, that is not everyone walking away from that. Those cars wouldn't have just bounced, they would have been made into shrapnel. Because I switched lanes, I'm like, okay, they're not moving in this lane. I got the other lane, like, oh, the car that was moving just stopped. Well, my brakes only work so good. That's the good news about this not being real life. Yeah, so right now with the vote, we have RimWorld is, by and large, the one that's been winning. Prison Architect was holding a pretty strong second place. Raft is just barely behind it. And then The Sims 4 and American Truck Simulator would be next. And most of the others are quite a ways behind. And then poor Fallout 76, like literally no one voted for it so far. You're welcome to vote at a time. You can vote for as many or as few games you want. It isn't choose the game you want. If there's like 4 or 5 games in there you'd be interested in seeing, vote for all 4 or 5 of them. If there's a game you don't want to see, don't vote for it. We must be going over hill. You don't think Fallout 76 would be entertaining to watch at all? So they did a lot of work on Fallout 76. So I came into the game at the beginning, and my stance on Fallout 76 was the mistake they made was saying, like, making it Fallout. If they just would have done a different IP, I think it would have been fine. Because you had a game that was like a single-player RPG. Their choices used to matter, but let's be honest, Fallout 4, they really didn't matter for 99% of the things. But, you know, the premises, the choices matter. But, being tied to the Fallout IP, you expected a certain style of game and all that, and it kind of wanted to be that a little, but didn't really do it. So I was trying to lean in on the multiplayer thing, and I actually don't care for the multiplayer side of it very much. And so at release, it was not, like, it was okay. Like, I'm not gonna dump on it like a lot of people was. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was just, eh. There was monetization things that they did that I really didn't care for. Like, the limitation on your stash, unless you paid extra. That, to me, bothered me to no end. 1, 2, 3, 4. You played it recently. I just think everything takes too long, and none of the missions are particularly engaging to play, let alone watch. I mean, that's fine. I only played it a little recently, and it wasn't on stream. That was, like, right before I had started. No, actually, was it before I started streaming? It may have been just not, like, during the time that I was streaming, but not on stream. I played just a little bit with some friends, and it seemed fine. It seemed fun enough. And it's fine, like, if you're like, nah, it's not for me. That's cool. Like, no matter what games I play, it's not going to be for everyone. That is the unfortunate reality of the world, is some people have different tastes. Lower the speed limit. Man, that's fine. That's, like, also fine if, like, generally speaking, everyone's like, yeah, not for me. Then I just don't play it. Easy enough. That's the reason I have the vote. If I see a game that a lot of people not voting for it, then sure. I also find it interesting when it comes to things taking too long, and a lot of the games I play on the channel. Like, there's lots of games I play on the channel, like RimWorld and Prison Architect and City Skylines and a lot of those. And we're talking, like, actual time. How long does it take me to set up, like, a new cell block in Prison Architect, waiting on money and that kind of thing? So, like, as far as things taking too long, that stuff takes way longer in actual time. And that said, you know, you may find that more fun and engaging versus 76, so while... Did you stop in the middle of the road? What is your problem? That's on you that happened. Let's see. The fun stuff about the game I found was grinding all the missions and base building. Yeah, which is some of the big things. Like, that's... Like, if I played it on the stream, I'd basically play through the story and, you know, do a little base building, and that'd probably be what we would do. Like, I'm not going to do the thing where I'm looking for the... I don't remember the classifications, but, like, the deadly version of the, you know... The, what is it? The packed gun. The musket-style gun that does, like, a ridiculous amount of damage with the lead ball. You know, like, I'm not going to sit there and, you know, kill the same boss again and again and again, trying to get that to drop or anything like that. That's not been my interest in a lot of games. Like, I'm not the person who grind the same boss until I got the Thunder Fury or whatever. Like, I would do the content and all that. So we'd go do, like, the what is it, not Vault Dweller, like, where you're the Vault... I mean, everyone's a Vault Dweller. The, Leader of the Vault Dweller. Why am I blanking on the title? Not Foreman. But you know, do the thing where you find the people out, you do the whole thing where there's the people who are doing like kind of a moonshiners thing, you do all that kind of content. Like I'd probably play this through it, and it'd probably be just as long as people are interested and I'm interested. If I got bored of it, I'd stop playing. If people stop tuning in or like, yeah, this is really not my jam, and enough people were kind of in that sentiment, probably switch off. But that's true of any game. That's actually the concern I had with Prison Architect is, yeah, it actually had really good numbers today. Like I'm really happy with it. I do kind of fear that I'll play it again, you know, say tomorrow, and then instead of having, you know, 70-ish viewers, we'll have like 35, and the next time we tune in, it'll be like 20. I'll be like, all right, well, this game's off. That's something that's happened on the channel with so many games, that the first day everyone kind of tunes in, and the second day not many tune in, and the third day it's not good, and the fourth day it's horrendous. And it's been so many games that at first I'm like, oh yeah, this is doing really well. Look forward to doing more of this. But it's like once the new novelty wears off, then it's done. Or the nostalgia hit wears off. Which is part of the reason if I did like the World of Warcraft kind of thing, I'd do it for only 1 week. One, to not pay for a sub, and then two, is I kind of feel like it'd be the big nostalgia hit would be the big thing that people come in at first, and it would quickly fade. And it'll be like the novelty of the hardcore thing. Headlights? Why are you not? There we go. I was hitting the wrong button, that's why. Thank you. I didn't need to get a fine. Because the truck that I was normally driving, not doing missions, I would always just have the headlights on all the time, because there's no penalty in the game for having your headlights on while you're driving during the day. So game mechanics-wise, you know, whatever. Thank you, Shewell. But yeah. And I'm always open for suggestions for other games as well that you'd like to see on the channel. Usually what I'll end up having... Your high beams are on? Yes, they are. There's no penalty in the game for it. And I like seeing. In real life, I wouldn't do this, because it'd be a total jerk move. But this is a video game, and there's no consequences of just blasting the person's mirror in front of you so they can't see. Yeah, usually when it comes to suggesting games, the things I'll usually put as criteria is obviously anything that's against TOS on Twitch. I not only will not stream, but I cannot stream, so don't ask. Which that's usually not hard to figure out what's going to be there. It's going to be mostly like, you know, pornographic content or stuff like that. That'll be the only things that you have to worry about there. I do have general, like, while I have been experimenting more with, like, playing stuff a little bit farther outside the genres I play the most on the channel, there's still going to be limits. Like, outside of the redeem that people can make me play a game, you're probably not going to see, like, proper horror games on the channel at any point. You know, maybe for a sub goal or some, like, reward as a one-off. It's not that I dislike horror games. I don't honestly find horror games that interesting, if I'm being honest. It's not like the whole thing. People have seen me. I played Phasmophobia on the channel a long time ago, just as a one-off thing, because I had some friends who were playing. It's honestly not the most entertaining to watch me play those kinds of games, because, like, I'll get cornered by the ghost or whatever, and I'll be like, well, that sucks. And then I'll die is about the biggest reaction you're going to get out of me from that kind of thing. And it's not that I'm like, look at me all big and tough. I'm just not someone who reacts in big ways to a lot of things, like good, bad, or otherwise. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes things will shock me and surprise you. Play Five Nights at Freddy's 4. I've played the old Five Nights at Freddy's. They're alright. And you won't be like, well, that sucks. I mean, don't get me wrong, if something does, like, the blast of sound out of nowhere that startles you, I'm still gonna jump. But to me, there's a difference between being scared and being startled. Being startled to me is not necessarily interesting to me. Being scared, I can be down with. But I tend to like more, like, psychological horror. You know, the stuff that the game ends, you kind of sit there for a minute and go, I need a minute to process what I just went through. I'm gonna need a minute. But that wouldn't fit the channel at all. Like, again, that'd be something if, like, if someone did the 100,000 and made me play, like, Doki Doki Literature Club, which isn't necessarily the best example. But, you know, something that's like, hey, no, actually, you know, this is going to be problematic for some people. I wouldn't say no to it, but it would be something that leading up to that stream would be like, hey, you know, Thursday, like, this is not going to be comfy vibe stream. You know, Thursday's not comfy vibe stream, just so you know. And then the day, like, especially with that game, I'd have a disclaimer on it that's like, yo, just so you know, this game F's with you. Like, this is not comfy vibe day. I understand if you don't show up, kind of thing. I would honor the redeem. Resident Evil 7 was quite terrifying. My problem I ran into with Resident Evil games, I think it was 6 I played with my older brother. My problem with that is I always got frustrated with how much they love their quick time style events. And that's actually one of the things that I don't like a lot of horror games because of. I'm not a fan of, thing jumps at me, what button do you have to push? And then you hit the wrong button, they're like, haha, now you get to watch a person die horrifically. And you're like, but that's not what I want. Like, make me play Skillet. Is it an outlier? It sucks? Gotcha. I can't remember. I'll have to check, because I still have it installed. Actually, I can check right now. Give me 1 second. Which one do I have? Because I only have the one, I believe, on Steam. Resident... No, I have 5. I have 5. So it was 5 I played. Resident Evil 7 is the first psychological horror. Ah, gotcha. But yeah, for those, because I had played 1 and 2 like way back in the day, and I remember those frustrating me because of camera angles more than anything. That it was like, I want to say, didn't they like position the camera and you'd run through the scene, and then to position the camera the next scene you'd run through the scene kind of thing? Like some of the old Metal Gear games did. I remember hating that about those games. Like, I love the old Metal Gear games, but that was definitely a point I did not like. Like, the big open rooms with, like, railings and all that and cover I didn't mind. But when they'd have, like, a really tight corner room that you couldn't see anything. Has to do with, possession, which makes it really freaky. Gotcha. Gotcha. I mean, that would be a game, like, I will warn anyone, if you do the redeem to make me play a horror game on the channel, most likely that'll be a game that we do, it's a one and done, that it will never come back. Because it's like I should say any game that's that strongly counter to the style of games that we usually play on the channel. Just because it'd be one of those things that it doesn't fit what people on the channel expect, kind of thing. It would be one of those things that realistically would not have very many people who normally tune in the channel hang out for long. Like, they might check it out for the one day kind of thing, but people tend to come here for like chill vibes, get away from anxiety, that kind of thing. That would definitely not be a fit. Because that's what things that, like, for example, Undead Baron, like, we raid Undead Baron a lot and all that kind of stuff. You know, we've done collab with Undead Baron a good couple times and, like, borrow trauma and played up in a bunch of stuff. But a lot of the stuff Undead Baron does is horror, which is fine. But there's been a lot of times where Undead Baron is like, would you be interested in doing this game? It's like, well, me outside of stream? Yes. Me on stream is like, yeah, unfortunately it just doesn't fit the channel. Stop yawning. Go. You made me stop the whole way. You'd always had a tough time with the movement of those older games. Hand controls are weird with swapping camera angles. Oh, yeah. There had been a number of games back in those days where they did the whole thing where they locked the camera one position and you moved your character in the frame. That they had like, the way they would surprise you is they would have something behind something that your character would be able to see entirely, but you with your horrifically awful camera position could not. That it wouldn't scare me, it would frustrate me. Because I'm like, it's not even like an immersion thing. I'm like, you're already tilted at the camera, and then you get hit by this enemy that your character should have seen, and you're just like, you know what? I'm not having fun. I'm just getting angry at this game. Because this isn't like a player skill thing. It's one of those games that you play it, you get hurt by this monster, now you know where the monster is. The next time you play it, you don't get hurt by the monster because you know it's there. And that's just how you play the game. It's like learning where the monsters are at and just remembering it kind of thing. Because there isn't like a dodge or something. If you walk out and the monster's there, it will hit you. You can't like cat-like reflexes your way out of it. And there isn't something like walking slower to give you a chance to have the monster come out of you. Not always, some of them do. Alright, so next rest stop, we need to have our characters sleep. They're yawning. But probably good time to top off on gas anyways. Like, we probably have enough gas to get there, but it's not like I don't get compensated for the gas I buy in this vehicle anyways, since I'm, you know, doing a mission for someone else kind of thing. When I say someone else, it's NPCs or whatever. Alright, so I got the red thing, so if a cop sees me, I'll get a fine for avoiding sleep. Only game like that actually was fantastic was the original remake of Resident Evil 1. Gotcha. Yeah, no, it was like Resident Evil like is an okay series and all that. It was just never one I got into. And when I say okay, I'm not like trying to belittle it. It's like for me, it was just never a series that really grabbed me. We're almost there, buddy. Just gotta get around this corner. Apparently speed limit here is 25 and it's raining. Their windows getting all dribbledy done. You don't fall asleep at the wheel, you just keep getting fined. This game doesn't have, like, falling asleep at the wheel. The cops don't, you know, you don't start a police chase if they go to pull you over. They just flash their lights and you automatically get fined. It's just not meant to be that kind of a game. Like, you don't get into a wreck and then suddenly your character wakes up in the hospital with a bunch of bills or whatever. You know, just your truck hits something, it gets eventually to the point that it stops running, and then you have to call a tow truck. Which costs you time and money. Someone should make a roguelike truck game. I'm willing to bet there's a roguelike racing game with trucks or something like that. That would probably fit what you're looking for. If you're looking for just an arcadey trucking game, it's not a new game, it's a pretty old game actually. There's a game called, I think it's Big Mother Truckers, or Bad Mother Truckers? I think it's Big Mother Truckers. That's super duper arcadey. Oh good, I was like, it's just a dirt lot, it's like, where am I supposed to park? But, you do stuff like you strike another vehicle, it does damage to your truck, but you get, like, combos where if you know, strike multiple vehicles in quick succession, it's like, you know, highway hoedown, hit from hell, bad mother trucker, and all that kind of stuff. But, if you hit enough of them, they give you, like, instant gas refills and repairs. So you're, like, hauling this stuff, just slamming your truck into all sorts of stuff. It's pretty ridiculous. It's definitely not roguelike, though. It's just a shipping game that's super duper arcadey. The downside is there was no gas here. Alright. Engine malfunction. Visit service as soon as possible. Aw, come on. I didn't strike those vehicles that hard. I absolutely slammed into those vehicles at extreme velocity. But I mean, come on. The little picture of my truck in the bottom right there, it only shows a widow red. It doesn't show a wad of red, just a little red. We're fine, right? Okay, check my cruise control set again. And besides, I stand by that the second car I struck, where we were going around a turn, and then they stopped in the intersection for no reason, considering we're the only two vehicles there, I blamed them for that accident. The first one where I just utterly rear-ended a couple of cars, that, you know, I'll accept, that's on me. I thought I was just going to switch lanes and get past a bunch of vehicles, and then the other vehicles stopped all of a sudden. I was like, oh, well, this is bad. And just slammed the brakes and, you know. There's a lot of momentum when you have 50,000 pounds in your payload. It's a lot of momentum for brakes to overcome. That said, this should pay out like 50,000 minus, you know, the damage and all that. And we're already at least 2/3 the way through. Because the there's like a time dilation effect in this game, so where it says like 4 hours and 40 minutes, that'll probably be closer to like 10, 15 minutes. Something like that. That when you're between cities, time goes much faster. You know, the distance goes much faster. So it'd be 8. 6 down. I hate speed traps. Dropping from 70 to 25. It's a crime as far as I'm concerned. Not a crime for me speeding. It's a crime that they drop it that fast. And of course they have a cop sitting right there. Little town police departments everywhere. They always have that one intersection. One, two, three, four. From working with the police department in the place I used to live, even the police didn't like the speed traps. They're like, man, I don't want to be there. Everyone's always pissed. Uh-huh. Yup. It's a thing you got when you pissed off the wrong people in the department. They wanted to kind of, you know, not get back at you, but, you know, kind of be like, all right, you've been uppity. Well, here's the crap gig you don't want to do. Go do speeding tickets for a while. Should be set to 70. Unless I miscounted my cruise control adjustment. Okay, yeah, we're still accelerating, so it's alright. We just must have been going uphill a little. Alright, we're set to 50. Still 70, but unfortunately, we got slow-moving traffic. Doesn't matter, it's about to drop to 45. Probably back down to 25. Yep, there's the 30. Where's the 25? That looks like it's not going to drop that low. 35 is still pretty rough. There's the gas station. I can probably make it without going to the gas station. We went about 100 miles and I haven't... No, there's a 25. Never mind. Spoke too soon. Oh, it's so painful to go 25. Please. Not like this. Yeah, we can get to the place without shopping for gas. Because we got about a third of a tank left. This trip was 700 miles. We're down to 160, so we're good. Hey, it's a Sprig corner. And Union corner. And the green light. Got our hotel, which apparently I cannot sleep at. Got a bakery. What are you? You bar? Nope. Military antiques. Oh, you're open, right? Buddy. Ice creamy. Oh, good. The speed limit's up. I did not count how many times I told it to go faster. Are you telling me we're going to go 70 and then 35 in those 2 seconds? That's not fair. That's just teasing me. Let me go faster again, please. Alright, a bit more than that. There we go. So 50, 70. Thank you so much for everyone who's been tuning in, has been lurking, chatting, following, subscribing to the bits, the hosts, the donos, and the raids. It all helps and I really do appreciate it. I do hope you've been enjoying the stream so far. We had some real good fun with some Prison Architect playing Warden mode in permadeath. And then just ramping up with some nice chill stuff. We are still alive in that permadeath run, by the way. We just getting to a point where it's kind of waiting on money. And so I was like, all right, you know, we got another good milestone. Oh, these brakes, please. We got some good money. And we're just like, you know what? A good stopping point. Before we start the next project. I do think we will be back to that. I'm debating what the plan is for tomorrow. I'm thinking we'll pick up where we left off with oxygen not included. Maybe we jump over to Prison Architect later in that stream. Kind of depends. We'll see. Because I'd like to get oxygen not included to either a like a good stopping point where like, yeah, I'm satisfied that I've done enough. You know, we're not gonna do like all of the things, like build like the most elaborate, ridiculous base. But we'll see where we go. Like, I definitely want to poke those volcanoes we have going down there. Because as much salt water as I've been dumping down there and then waiting impatiently, for steel, which we finally got, you know, I do want to see what we can't make happen with those volcanoes. I definitely want to set up a proper way of managing the temperature in the base. But right now it's kind of just, oh, it's getting cold. Turn on that pump to start putting hot liquids through the base. Oh, it's getting hot. Switch the pump over to the other one. I do want to actually set up something like automation with the thermostat where it's like, oh, temperature too cold. flip to the heat system. Up, it's getting too hot. Flip to the cold system, whatever. Which probably won't be a problem. Like, once we get those volcanoes involved, more than likely the heating up system will stop being used because volcanoes. Should be good times. I don't know what I'd consider. I mean, the obvious end point for Prison Architect is gonna drop 55 to 3. Because California has a road law that the semis aren't supposed to go more than 55 on the roads. Because it is actually a thing that semis going faster than that significantly increase the wear and tear on your roads. So by reducing the speed limit on semis, they actually save a lot of money on road repair. Alright. Slowing down a whole lot again. Don't love to see it. But yeah, so Prison Architect, I could see being a thing that we get the prison to a certain size. And if we manage, like, if we find a strategy that we're able to basically just never be in danger, like, ever, that then we might wrap it at that point, because, like, then the challenge is our own patience. Like, how long do we want to just do whatever that strategy is? Right now, what I've been doing with, like, the little tunnels, I still have to expose myself to danger from time to time. Tractor trailer was a federal law at 55, but it changed. No, most don't follow in SoCal. Gotcha. I didn't know it used to be a federal law. In the game, at least, it only depicts the 55 limit in California. And I don't think I've seen it as being a thing in Florida, because most of the places I've seen it that has been a thing, like there's places I've seen it, like certain individual roads, where they'll do, like, just like you're seeing here, where it has, like, the regular speed limit sign, and it'll be like trucks, 55 or whatever. I've definitely seen places where there are different speed limits. But at least within the game's context, while you're in California, it locks you saying, hey, you're supposed to go 55 here, and you can get a speeding ticket if you go over, if a cop sees you. But the other states, they're like, yeah, no, 70's fine. It could also be that certain vehicles federally have to stay at 55 or less, but not all. And then, California might have an additional rule that says, hey, it's just all trucks. All semi, trailer, whatever trucks. Because I actually don't know what the law is, because I don't drive a semi, so I have no idea. Now, as far as not obeying the laws, yeah, that's true. Pretty much all speed limit laws everywhere. I do know breaking some of those laws with speed limits and that for commercial drivers on the job, that you can get yourself in a lot more trouble if you get caught. That, not like as one offense or anything, but as a continuous thing, you can be putting your commercial license in jeopardy. Hey, Yosemite National Park. I want to go to Yosemite. Why can't I go to Yosemite? You had a Class A license in CA? Yeah, it's 55. In CA, it's double points. Right. That was the whole thing, is if you get caught, like, you get slapped hard. I remember that part, because I had a couple buddies who worked in software dev for a long time, burnt out, and the thing they went to was commercial trucking. Now, granted, my context would be more from Texas and Florida, because that's where they were both, like, located in the different places. But I remember them talking about how, like, different types of road violations the punishment is far worse for them. So far as, again, they take your commercial license kind of thing, or you get points towards having your commercial license taken away and that kind of nonsense. $50, $60, $70. Yeah, so now we're not restricted to... Never mind, we're about to go back down to 55. Our law is overlooked. In Florida, does anything not go? Oh no, in Florida, you can definitely get in trouble. There's like the whole infamous Florida man thing, which we've talked about on the floor because I am actually in Central Florida. That the infamous Florida man as it was is actually a thing that's only been around for a little over 10 years, so far as an actual like internet meme. But the reason that actually exists is what's known as the Sunshine Laws, and that basically makes most government records public record. About the only exceptions is stuff like account numbers and stuff that's very specifically says there is a very, very, very specific reason this individual thing is being kept, not public. So you only have a couple exceptions. But because of that, when it's a slow news week, what they would do is they'd go and just start looking through arrest reports for Florida, because those police records were public record. So you could find someone who did something ridiculous. So we don't have a monopoly on people doing ridiculous stuff. We are just a lot more transparent about it, or better or worse. And we also are a very high population state, so there's a lot more people's records to go through to find stuff. Not to say that people don't do ridiculous crap here. I'm just saying, we don't have a monopoly on it. But actually, some of the cops over here can be straight up nasty when it comes to just being ridiculous about enforcement. I've seen people get pulled over and get speeding tickets for 1 mile an hour over. Now granted, if you fought that ticket, you'd almost certainly win, because that's well within the margin for error for any speed gun or whatever. Like that is one you could absolutely get yourself out of. None of those things are that precise and reliable. The outside Florida, bored journalists can't as easily sift through the police reports for crazy stuff. There's a couple other states that over the years have opened their record, but they're not high population states, so there's not as much to find, as it were. I want to say was it Iowa? There was another one of the states, up there like Midwest states that had the same law, but as well as ones that had like a population of 50 to 100,000 or whatever it is, which is just nothing compared to the population Florida has. But it's slow news week. Let's go sift in the basket. Yeah, 1 mile, even 10 probably wouldn't happen in LA. Inner SoCal, many parts of the city. Oh ho 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 oh ho 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 oh ho ho oh got that pole a little bit. I underestimated the length of the trailer on that one. That was tenuous. I think in real life with 50,000 pounds payload, something would have broken there. I don't think the mechanics on the back of that would still be sound and attached. Something would have given. It either broken or bent in such a way that it would not be still moving with us. Didn't take that turn nearly wide enough. Most likely we tipped over. I mean, we were pretty close to tipping over. But I'm dragging behind this ridiculous tractor. I don't even remember what I grabbed. It's some like a harvester or whatever. I remember it's like 40 or 50,000 pounds. All right. I'm not bothering. They don't give you enough XP for doing it. Damage penalty? Oh, good. Yeah, that's fine. consider that just, you know, a thank you, a commissioning fee. Yeah, no, that was haha. That was spicy. How is our other driver that's using my actual truck going? You are not making me nearly as much money. I made about $50,000 on that trip, and you made about $2,000. I'm gonna need you to bring a little bit more in. I'll do one more job. Well, you're not covers racist, and yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. We don't need to get into it, but I you would find I wouldn't necessarily have a different stance, if you will, from what you're saying. And I'm actually in Central Florida, in the Orlando Kissimmee celebration area. It is a lovely place. It is our little bastion in the middle of Florida that cannot be escaped because you are surrounded by Florida. Ooh, a double pivoting trailer. I'm probably using the wrong words because I actually don't know much about trucking. Other than I'm actually pretty good at backing up a truck. Granted, I haven't tried a double pivoting one. So yeah. Oh, come on, bus. I'm already going. Oh man, this thing is taking a little bit. The pedal is to the metal, but I think was this 40,000 or 55,000? It's a lot. Whatever it is, you hit the gas pedal and it goes, hang on, I need a minute. I did not pull up far enough. I cannot see around this. I mean, they have four-way stop, so it's fine. Yeah, they have four-way stop. Yeah, there's definitely places to drive through here that get a little weird. I had a high school buddy. Well, I mean high school and college buddy. But hadn't talked to him in a while. I need to reach out. But he was working for one of the major grocery store chains. But he did it's not IT side. What would we even call it? Basically, they would be testing new systems and all that kind of stuff, introducing them. So like when they started moving to like the self checkout, like he'd be the one who'd actually install it, you know, test it, make sure it's all working, all that kind of stuff. So he did a lot of like the implementation and figuring out that kind of bit. It was actually kind of a neat job, but it had him driving like all over the places. And some of the stories I got from like when he would go, and I should say he's for like the whole southeast, so like Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, all that. He'd go talk about like when he gets kind of like into like the backwoods and all that, that he was like, yeah, there's places I didn't feel safe. He was just like, oh, I am not welcome here. I need to do my job and get the heck out of here as fast as possible. Alright, that's the parking lot. Yeah, Bud Garden's fun. I do system admin, network engineer, Cisco, Microsoft, VMware, CompTIA. Yep. You remove VMware, and I have all those other ones. So Network Plus, CompTIA A Plus certification, Cisco. What was the Cisco one I had? That is going back in the vault almost 20 years. Was it the CCNA? It's been a while. I don't do it anymore. No, well, I mean, right now I stream full-time. 1 second. OBS has decided it wants to hide, and I need to watch that for if things go down. There we go. And back to it. but like I did that. That was where I started. I started IT side, did like network administrator, like I was an assistant network administrator for a company who didn't have a network administrator. Yes, I asked for the title a lot of times. That's actually why I left the company. Um, but yeah, so I had the I think it was the CCNA. I'm probably getting that wrong. But it was one of the Cisco certs, the big ones. I had my CompTIA A plus certification. I had my Network Plus certification. I had the what was the Microsoft one? It was the Developer Network one. That's probably long since expired. I had, was it Linux Plus was CompTIA? Yeah, the CCNA, CCNP. Yes. I believe I can't remember if they're the same one as CCNA. That was definitely the one I had. I had a bunch of developer certs that mean absolutely nothing. The MCSE, yep. I had that one, and there was one or two others. These are all going back like 20 years, by the way. Any of the ones that have expired would have expired. At that point, though, I had the CompTIA A plus before it expired, so unless they changed it, I should be grandfathered in forever. Because that one used to not expire, and I know they made it expire, but for people who had taken it before that, they weren't forced to redo it. None of it matters anymore, because I did that side until it said network administrator job. And prior to that, I thought you had to be, there's no reason to ever work in software development. I thought you had to be like a very specific kind of person to be into that. And then I worked a job where we had like an absolutely terrible backup system that was very manual. And so I started writing a bunch of scripts to make it not terrible, because I'm like, it can't be worse than this. Moved from that job to a help desk coordinator job, so I was doing the IT thing, but I was doing a lot of like getting the right people in touch with the right people kind of stuff for police, fire, and city hall, as well as like economic development. And I do a lot of the work myself as well. But it was like, okay, you need like the proper sysadmin. All right, I'm gonna go pass you there. It's like, okay, that's a data issue. Let me go pass you over to our DBA. All that kind of stuff. But that job, our help desk system, was Microsoft Access. And again, we're going back 15, 20 years. And it was being used in a multi-tenant fashion, which it doesn't support in a meaningful way. It was bad, considering that also has a data limit of, I think it was 2 gigs or 1.8 gigs or something like that. It's been a long time. Which means every year we had to basically kind of back up the entire existing open tickets and then copy all the tickets that hadn't been finished to the new, like a new copy of it. It was terrible. So I was like, I can't possibly make it worse than this. So with having no knowledge about software development and reading meaningful words, meaningful level, I wrote an entire help desk system complete with inventorying and everything that was using SQL on the back end, Microsoft SQL. And I'm pretty sure they still use it, and that frightens me greatly, as someone who's now done 15 years in software dev and really does know what they're doing, to the point that courses I've authored were used by Microsoft itself and everything, as saying, hey, if you want to learn this framework, use this course. And knowing the things I did in that help desk system because I didn't know better, because, you know, I was self-taught on the moment, on the job, like looking up tutorials and Stack Overflow and everything while working, I am 99% sure that thing is SQL injection not safe. Because I had no idea what I was doing, and that's back in the days of, like, not even ASPX, but regular old ASP. I have a Union client that still does that. Access to SQL on the back end, and it sucks. I'm sorry. At least they did access to SQL versus access there isn't a second part. Because that's what we were dealing with. And we didn't have a front end. It was like literally just access. Like, open up the application that is Microsoft Access and work directly in it. I think the worst database I ever dealt with for just not good times wasn't even Access. That was pretty bad. There was one called FileMaker. That one was pretty awful. FileMaker was a bad time. I think, if I remember correctly, it literally took every entry in the database, and it would make like actual physical files on the hard drive. And granted, it's probably better now because I can't imagine it's worse. And we're not talking like it was some like striped files or some fancy thing. It would be like literally you'd put in a record and be like, this is this person's address. There would be like an address folder on your hard drive with, you know, John Smith's address entry, and oh my god, everything was slow because it would be a billion files. It was wonderful. What I almost ended up working on, but I backed out, was there was, this was Disney had this. It was a database that had, like, usage offense. What? Okay. Did they actually make it so you get in trouble for having my high beams on during the day? It didn't used to do that. I mean, in real life, it'd be a jerk thing to do. The sad part is that Linux and Unix, free DBAs such as Postgres and MySQL for far superior time. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I definitely like Microsoft SQL more, personally, just for working with it. But I've used both Postgres and MySQL, and they're fine. Like, these days, there's areas that they can each win, but generally, when it comes to just raw performance, we're talking pulling data. We're not talking in-memory performance, because then you get to stuff like MongoDB, and that starts winning. But like, generally speaking, Microsoft would outperform MySQL. If people knew what they're doing. Pretty much anyone can make any of them run terribly if they know how to not break. Or sorry, if they don't know what they're doing, you can make all of them run terribly by just doing bad joins and all that kind of stuff when you're doing your queries. Oh, it just told me I... What was the button for that? Was it F9? Okay, it was telling me I got paid because my other driver finished something and they paid me like $2,000, which is like, alright, that's really not much, man. I need you to take on some better deliveries, driver, because, like, I'm over here making 50K a run. You should certainly make your cut, but I would assume if you're running something worth 30,000, I should be making more than $3,000 off it. You should be paid a good living wage, but, like, come on. Let's at least split it 50-50 or something. It's my truck and trailer. But yeah. Nah, these days, like, not so much databases I don't run into it. There's still people who will absolutely be like, oh, you use framework X. Oh, that's so terrible. You use language lot. You know why? Oh, but that's a locking language. It's like, alright, I'm willing to talk some software theory with you. I have never in my entire career seen a single thing that locking of program languages matters. Because, fun fact, your CPU does locking in itself. So, you can take your theory and you can go ahead and punt it. Also, I'm going to finish my project and have it delivered and have it outperforming yours because you'll never deliver it because you're too busy trying to chase whatever the new piece of candy is. Come back later. It's just, it's usually juniors brand new to the industry that they chase whatever the new shiny bauble is. And then the new shiny bauble can be cool. It can even be better. but because there's a lack of familiarity and all that, they end up just not being able to deliver. But man, I remember someone like bringing up theory, trying to just like piss on the technology I was using, and like 2-3 months into a job, is kind of finally like, all right, let's talk. You're trying to like belittle the thing I'm working with as not being as good. I've delivered on like my last 8 deadlines. When was the last time you even delivered something? Talk to me when you can meet a deadline, and we can start talking shop about which tech is better. Delivering is a feature. The very important feature. Arguably, it's the most important feature. Because I don't know about you, but if I'm buying a game and the game doesn't show up because they wanted to use the new tech that's going to be better, and the game never actually is you know, sold and downloaded or whatever, I think that's going to be a pretty big, you know, I'm not going to be buying and I'm going to be refunding kind of situation. Alright, so this route we might end up having to refill, because we're at about 2/3 gas tank, and we have gone about 200 miles out of the like 900 of the route. So there's a good chance I might have to top up. We'll see. I have no context of the size of the gas tank in this thing. Because sometimes you get these trucks and it's like 160-gallon tank of gas, and you're like, oh, I could basically drive forever on this. It cost me like $2,000 to refill it, but you know, I can pretty short of cross the country in this. Not really, but in the course of this game, it feels like it. And then you have the other ones where you're like, oh, okay, I've gone like 300 miles, it's time to top off. And I will say, for people looking at dev, in my entire career, and I have worked in so many different stacks and so many different contexts and all that, I have never once had the technology stack I'm using be the limiting factor that caused performance issues or failure to deploy or something like that. And that's not me patting myself on the back. It's just where you have these people getting these impassioned arguments about best technology for this or that. Honestly, what you're familiar with is usually the best choice. Because even if someone could arguably point and say, I can prove that this is 10% higher performant than that, okay, but can I deliver that fast? And I can deliver at the same quality from familiarity. No? Then I'm going to get 10% better performance out of the one I already know because I already know it and I know, like, the pain points. Many of my clients are small, medium-sized business. This is just Mario saying, many of my clients are small, mid-sized businesses. Yes, the free Microsoft SQL is locked to one core, and if you're using an antiquated app or access on the front end, yes, it will have problems accessing the database you just spent a small fortune on. Yeah, but that was kind of one of the things, because there was a lot of clients I had them just use the free SQL with Microsoft. But it was like, I want to set up this thing where it's going to be a retail website, and this is going way back again, when this would be new tech, where I can, you know, print stuff, like print photos on random things. I expect it to be fairly low volume. Like, yeah, the free one will be fine. Being trapped to one core doesn't matter. You're going to have, you know, what? On a good day, 5 clients? Yeah, you don't need more than that. Like, when you start talking that you're going to be dealing with, like, hundreds of concurrent users, okay, then you really need to not be on the free Microsoft one. You really need to be off of that. But yeah, there's just so many times where people are like, okay, well, I heard that MongoDB thing is, I think I need to have that set. I was like, look, man, you're going to be selling, like, 5 pictures a day. You don't need a NoSQL solution. You don't need that. Your website is not going to be working that hard. Getting your NoSQL solutions when you're doing something like Twitter, where it's like, okay, I need this to move like lightning fast on the front end, and there is like different database on the back end for long-term storage and all that. And there's all the performance considerations. Yeah, you know, your super duper high traffic website, you got to have a high traffic website solution. But the mom and pop shop does not need that. And if you do need that, that's a good problem to have. That you'll have the money you could pay someone to solve properly. What is... Oh, okay, there's a cone up ahead. They got a vehicle stopped. I was like, what? What? Well, not cone, there's reflectors. Okay. There was, Where up, man? You been streaming for an age? Yeah, I stream, I typically stream 11 hours a day. Now, granted, we are coming up onto when I normally would wrap. I'll finish this run before I wrap, even if it goes a little long. Because, I mean, this is just chill vibe. This is practically stream wind down within itself. Part of the reason I kind of want to end with this, I've been having sleeping problems lately. Nothing specific doing it. I'm like, all right, let's try starting like the wind down kind of stuff a little earlier. See if maybe that helps. And if not, no harm. I mean, like when I switched off of Prison Architect, I saw the numbers dip. I was like, all right, did I mess up? Because it dipped to like just over 60, but then it kind of came right back up to upper 60s and so I'm like, okay, perfect. Switched games and basically kept the same viewership, like overall. Heck yeah, that's a win. Usually when you switch games, you just watch it like nosedive for a little bit, unless you like switch to something that, you know, you're switching from a game that's just not working to something that, you know, is kind of tried and true or whatever. But yeah, no, prior to streaming, I did about a little over 15 years in software development, which the last couple years I was kind of it was still doing software development, but I was also teaching software development through it. The nuance of how that all works would get into if you're not actually into software development, you'd be like, I don't know what those words mean. Stuff like dependency injection and whatnot. That's not actually applicable in this thing, but like unit testing and everything. So that's not important. But I was doing all that prior to it, and I ended up starting streaming because I was playing Grand Theft Auto roleplay on the squad, so the TSRP roleplay server, which is the first time I'd done like hard RP. Just I don't even know why. Like, so the kind of the reason I did it, and I don't know why like I bit to it, is I do a lot of talks at conferences and all that. At least I used to before the pandemic. And I haven't really gotten back into it too much. But it was a regular thing that I'd go to these things, they'd pay me to, speak about either like, accessibility or different software dev stuff or teaching technical skills. Like it was a mix of things. But I do all that kind of stuff. But it ended up the company I've been working for made a change that I had very strong disagreements with. I was a person in charge of the employee resource group for people with disabilities and neurodivergent conditions. So basically advocate for them in the company, make sure they're not being taken advantage of or biased against and yada yada yada. And they had put in a new policy that I'll simply say it ran directly afoul of my efforts. And so tried to keep things within the company like push back and forth and a whole bunch. And when it was clear that it was just never going to budge, like it was kind of the canary in the coal mine, that I'm like, yeah, well, I'm here, and I was said like as long as I think there's a future for people with these issues in this company, like I'd be here to defend them. But when it's clear there isn't a place for me to defend, it's kind of me leaving the company was the signal that yeah, it's not safe for them here anymore. it was bad. And like that wasn't the only thing. There's a lot of negative stuff happening at the company. It got acquired, and it was a lot of bad stuff. So I ended up leaving the company, and at the same time, like the stream had started picking up, and I had no intention of doing anything with the stream. I'd started streaming with the GTRP thing just because I had some people I'd been playing with that couldn't be on for a while to RP, but they could be on like the internet. So you could kind of watch, you know, see what was going on in the world, so they weren't missing out and all that kind of stuff. And the server had only been on a couple days a week, and then the other days I would stream Project Zomboid and RimWorld Net just because, you know, I was enjoying the streaming thing. I'm like, hey, I'll just, you know, I'll play other games too on the days off. And, you know, people who weren't the group of friends I was RPing with started showing up. And it was kind of like, oh, I can do something with this. And then stuff happening with the company there. Like I was stepping away from that. And so I'm like, all right, well, I could possibly make partner. You know, and in the meantime, while I'm not sure what I'm doing next, like I'm going to go on a sabbatical for a while, you know, take a break. I've been working since like, you know, since I was definitely of a legal age. I mean, you know, working for a long time, full time, my entire life basically, many times, multiple jobs at the same time. It was like, I want a break. And then this started really picking up. I'm like, all right, I'll just do this for a while. I'll do this till it stops making sense. And for the record, it makes nowhere near as much as I was making, but that I knew going into it. Just by saying, I would like to hear more about the software development. I've done IT for accounting and mortgage delivery. The niche software is often dog crap. Yeah. It's, often when you get to that stuff, you get to, because I've done, for association management systems, I did software development, which was a lot of, like, inventory and finance, where, like, nonprofit finances get super ridiculously difficult. Like, I feel if laws around nonprofits were relaxed a little bit, the money going into nonprofits would get far more because they'd need just that much less accounting kind of finance stuff in them. Who knows how it actually turned out, but my god, it was a pain in the butt to work on. But a lot of that stuff ends up being very utility, where you don't have like a lot of really, really talented design people involved in the process. And that's not saying, like, the people involved are talented, just there's not enough designers involved. So it's like the engineers doing the UI as well, and they shouldn't. UI, UX is its own discipline that needs its own people, like, to really get right. So it ends up working well on the back end and looking like absolute garbage on the front end, and sometimes not being entirely clear what it's trying to communicate. So I've done that kind of stuff. I've also done, like I mentioned, the help desk thing, but then I've done software, like, hardware-wise, like the, I don't know if it's still running my software, but the digital billboards between Las Vegas and the airport there, I wrote the software for those, and they should be, and I believe they're used much more widely spread nowadays, that software, but that's the only place I know for a fact it was used. So when you look at those digital billboards and they, you know, show whatever ads they've got going on for whatever, you know, Circus Olay and whatever else is going on, I wrote the software to put up on the screen and then say, okay, this ad was on the screen for this long at this date at this time. It ran this many times between this time frame and that time frame and all that stuff. So the people paying could be like, yeah, I got my ads on the screen. Yay, they did what they're supposed to. That kind of garbage. That was interesting because for the fun fact of those screens, the way they work on the hardware side is if you look at a display screen, like if you're looking at like my, oh geez, forgot no mouse, my monitor here, that ad is just like the upper left corner of the screen. Like it's just you render the image on that spot of the screen, and the giant digital billboard shows that corner of the screen, and they're really not high resolution either. You're talking, it's very low resolution. It was so weird having to like put a thing in the top corner of the screen, like kind of like how pop-up ads would pop on top of videos, where it's not like in its own window, it's just like an image overlaid on it. It's like that, but doing that on someone's monitor so that it would show on the digital billboard, and then having to like deal with those, because those digital billboards, it's just like a crappy crappy like e-machine shoved in a cabinet on the billboard itself. Well, no, I'm sure a lot more got widely spread in Las Vegas. Yeah, I'm willing to bet it got around quite a bit. Because it's a pretty straightforward software. Like on what it does. So it's not a whole lot of room to do a bunch of fancy stuff with it. But so I did that software. That was an interesting one because it's just writing to such an unusual thing. And then when you're live testing going, I hope this software works. If not, some number of hundreds of people are going to see it as they drive between LA and the airport, and whoever owns the billboard is going to be pissed when the ads aren't showing and they're not making their money, which I didn't have a problem, but it was always weird testing it and having to check the billboard's camera to see if it's actually working, because it's not like I could go across the country and sit under this sign where there's no internet locally available to try and work on it. They'd have a dial-up connection actually at the sign. Not that I could plug in, it would belong to sign. I'm not climbing some 50-foot thing that's all rusted out. I just sat comfortably over here in Florida, deployed the update, accessed the camera, and hope for the best. Never had a problem with that one, but that's always the nervous thing going, well, I really hope it doesn't like brick the computer in there, because if it does, it's not like I can go over there and reboot it. Gonna have to, call someone to drive out there themselves. Did the help desk system, did association management systems for like Boy Scouts America, the Canadian Scouts. I think Society of Mechanical Engineers was with them and everything. That was always interesting because with like the Canadian Scouts, you have to support both English and French. It's just Canadian law has all sorts of restrictions that it was one of the provinces? I probably had the term wrong. You have to support both English and French if you want to sell your products there. Is this another game? No, it's the exact same prison game we were playing earlier. No, it's a totally different game. This is American Truck Simulator. You drive trucks and make money. The other game was like, still going and fine. We just decided to do one last game on the stream. Kind of just wind down. I see those taillights. Alright, I thought they were stopping. Okay. Alright, looks like I'm taking the left lane to Barstow. But yeah. No, it's funny, we've had people ask me about the software development thing a lot in the past. They'd be like, oh man, it's got to be a big thing writing code all the time. Like, yeah, I'm gonna let you in a little secret. Actual software development, writing code is probably the shortest part. A lot of it is planning and meetings and, getting with the stakeholders, making sure what they've asked is what they actually want, and then going, hey, I know you said you wanted it this way, but here, I'm a person been doing this for a long time. Have you considered doing it this other way? It'll be a lot better for you. You'll have better analytics. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's better. Because a lot of times I have people, it's like, so what I want is I want you to put a button on this screen that when I push it, this happens. And you kind of go, okay. Is that what you actually want, though? Like, you push this button and it calculates the tax in the order. Okay. I mean, I can certainly do that. Do you want me to just make it calculate the tax, like, right from the get-go and not push the button? They'll be like, you can do that? It's like, yeah, we can do that. It's okay. It's not a difficult thing to do. Like, oh yeah, that's way better. Versus if you take the requirement, you push the button, and be like, man, this still sucks. There's got to be a better way. Oh man, the meetings. There's so many meetings in that type of job. Jiggleblade says, oh well, I spend more time on copy pasting and Stack Overflow. I still wonder if it's like either where I'm at in my software developer career, like don't get me wrong, I still absolutely pull up, you know, resources and read through them and go, okay, so this is the way I'm going to be tackling this. All right, yeah, let me go and do that. Like you always have to do your research and all that because the technology always changes. It never ever stops. There is no catching up. That is the reality. That is software dev. And if that upsets you, it's probably not the right. Either that, you need to do something like COBOL or something that does not change anymore. Because otherwise, the reality is, even if you stay in one tech stack, it will change every year to every other year. It's going to change, and you're either along for the ride or you're not. I'm not saying it's a good, bad, or whatever thing. Just, that is what it is. But on that note, I don't think I've really seen people doing Stack Overflow specifically nearly as much as I used to. Now, I don't know if that's because, you know, over the years there's been better resources, or if where I'm at in my career I don't do it as much anymore. Like, I'm just not around that much of that anymore. Like, Stack Overflow is an absolutely wonderful resource, for the record. Probably because you're sitting at the junior level. Oh, and now GPT-4 also got quite involved during my work time. Yeah, that was the thing. It's like, okay, most of the people I've worked with in the last 5 or so years, I didn't work with as many developers directly, and most of them were people who were very, very, very... What's the word I'd put it? They tend to be the people who are some of the most knowledgeable experts in there, because we were training people, we were teaching people, we were the ones, you know, big names within whatever stacks we had to teach new people how to learn it. So it really changed the paradigm of what we were dealing with versus, you know, actually being in there, you know, working on some legacy code or whatever, and like optimizing it out a lot. Did you ever get people that ask for buzzwords and not real? Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I heard people like, well, we could use blockchain to secure the voting process. No, you can't. You have said 2 words that are unrelated to each other. Stop it. We could use machine learning to go and figure out when something... No, you can't. Stop it. That's not what machine learning is. You don't want machine learning involved in that. Machine learning is a very specific thing that is very, very powerful and useful for something other than the thing you're now proposing to do. Oh god, the number of times I had people's like... my favorite one is to be like a C-level person who understandably doesn't know the technology. Like, and don't fault them for not understanding the thing. They heard the buzzword, they're hearing it splashed around, they think it's important because they don't know any better. And it's fine. That's why they pay me. They pay me to go, yeah, you don't actually want that. And the number of times they were like, so I've got this e-commerce website. I've been told I really should be looking into this blockchain thing. You don't need a blockchain thing for your e-commerce website. You really don't need a blockchain thing for your e-commerce website. Honestly, I would have to come up with some ridiculous nonsense to even manage to fit blockchain into this e-commerce website, and it wouldn't make sense. That's not to say there's anything wrong with blockchain. There's not anything wrong with e-commerce. It is these are 2 independent ideas that are unrelated to each other in any single way whatsoever. Blockchain has a very, 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 very niche and specific use. Am I pulled in the wrong spot in the scale? That I am. Will it still take it? No, it won't. Let's see if I can turn around right here because I didn't realize the scale was on the right side. Don't you dare find me for doing this. I am complying. I am the person who pulled into the security gate the wrong way, and I'm U-turning to go back through the gate the correct way. I remember a former boss once told me to give a pitch of developing a video game console. Also, FYI, our company is nowhere near that level. Oh, yeah. Oh, what was it? I've had a few projects. This is tighter turn that I should probably be doing in this truck. This is... Let's see if we cannot knock our trailer against this. Inch over, don't hit the barricade. Hug that left wall as hard as you can. Oh, that is not even close. Let us back that up. That isn't even remotely close to making around that barricade. That was going to be like straight in the middle of that trailer. Oh, that's the wrong way. That's fine. Nope. Alright, what do I have behind me? You know what? We're just going to go around again. That's how we're going to deal with this. We're going to go... I can't actually go around it. That's not going to work. Alright. So, I need to manage to line the trailer between me up with the trailer behind me. Because what I need to do is I need to take that turn much wider. I'm not going to be able to turn sharp enough, but that's okay. I think I can still work with this. Does this pivot in 3 places? Oh. Well, that's a problem. We're gonna... Alright. But yeah, no, that's, I've had a couple projects that, like, you'll have the boss like, hey, I want to do this, this, and this. I'm like, that's great. Are you willing to hire on about 50 people and wait about 3 years? And they kind of look at you, and it's like, all right, then you're not getting it. Like, I'm not even humoring you. Like, it's not a plausible thing. All right. Yeah, so I did not take this nearly wide enough, is the problem we had. Okay, I think we're good. It's a little snug back there. All right, it's just a little love tap, little scratch paint. That one's not bad. Yeah, no, when I U-turned it, I took it way too tight. It did not go nearly wide enough. So it was like, oh, wait a second, I done goofed. Like, I didn't strike it immediately. It's like, wait. This is not looking like it's gonna even be in the ballpark. Shushu, thank you so much for the raid. Hey, Jakaka, how's it going? Welcome in, Raiders, and thank you so much for that raid. Give me a moment. I just want to get my my speed where it's to be. There we go. And I will get you a shadow once I get my mouse out of the window. Trucking is going really good. Just enjoying a nice kind of wind down on the stream. We're not too close. I mean, normally I end up actually right now, but I'm finishing this route. But thank you so much for the raid. And so we have a Shushu who was playing. It's not telling me. You're either playing Fallout New Vegas, Starship Troopers Extermination, Expeditions Vikings, or something completely unrelated to those things. And that is a very unfortunately timed ad. I apologize. But if any of those sound good, make sure you hit the heart at the top of your stream. That way you can drop a follow if any of that sounds good. So I do apologize for the timing with the ad, because I didn't notice that it was counting down. Otherwise, I usually will try and wait it, like, delay it what little I can. Both of the first ones. Nice. Yeah, we started the stream with playing Prison Architect in Warden mode, so you have to actually run around the prison as your Warden while you're building it, with permadeath turned on. Because, I don't know why, it was interesting. But, had a good fun with that, and I was like, you know what, we're at a good stopping point. Let's do Delivery 2, an American Truck Simulator, kind of start winding things down, relax, bring the stress down a little bit more before the end of the stream. But welcome in, Raiders. I should be waiting for the ad break to end. I do apologize again for the ad break. Twitch be this way. It sucks. No one likes ads. Oh, good. We're sleepy. Perfect. We're also at about a third of a tank of gas. Yeah, we might have to stop for gas. That's fine. But I'll do the whole welcome in, Raiders and all that once the ad break is over. I'll also do like another like, hey, go follow. Because it's just a really crappy time, Dad. I didn't see it coming. But yeah, in the meantime, we are trucking across the southwest U.S. I actually do not know what state I'm in right now. I think I'm in California. Too busy watching the road? That's what we're doing. Watching people play American Truck Simulator is an excellent way to have a PSA about not distracted driving. For the record, I definitely did not rear-end about 3 cars at speed earlier. I mean, I was holding my brake and going, crap. But I had intended on stopping and didn't make it happen. Distracted driving is a bad time. Alright. But yeah, how was your stream, by the way? I should have asked that already. How was your stream? You mentioned playing New Vegas and all that. Hopefully you had a good time. Normally I have a whole thing from playing Project Zomboid about, like, hopefully you did not die, and if you did, hopefully you had fun doing it, but I don't think that's appropriate for those 2 games. Not bad, was a fun day. Fun day is the most we can hope for. So, awesome. Glad to hear it. And thank you so much for sharing your community. I'm assuming, was it Jakaka who had suggested just the Arby's command? That's a reoccurring thing. Not in general, just individually. Alright, and the ad should be over. I do apologize for the timing on that ad break. I did not realize it was coming up. You pressured me into making it too. So I still don't have one. Now, Arby's, if you're listening, and you want to sponsor the stream, you know, I'm gesturing the phone, but you're going to need to email. I don't have my phone number listed for you. But I'm down to talk. I like money. But welcome in, Raiders. I am Rual Storge. I do play a variety of games here on Twitch. I am most known for being the former world record holder for the highest kill count run ever streamed to Project Zomboid. 135,121 zombies killed on one character in one life on hard and apocalypse settings with no mods to change itemization or vehicles. And that record has been beaten, if you didn't catch the context there. I am not looking forward to trying to back this truck up out of this spot. It is going to be very touchy with the 4 pivot points or whatever, 3 pivot points it's got in the back. I'm hoping I can use game logic and kind of cheat it by just like barely touching in here. Yeah, this isn't the spot, right? Come on. Come on, game logic. But I am a variety streamer. I do play a variety of games, including survival, simulation, tycoon, roguelite, city builders, settlement builders, simulation, a whole bunch of stuff. At the moment, we are playing American Truck Simulator. Oh, good, it's raining in the desert. Alright. I have a trailer that has multiple pivot points. I am hoping that because I drove in straight, it should stay straight. If it was at all cattywampus, let's just hope it's not cattywampus, because then it's going to go do this. And up, it's turning. I think it's fine, though. Because we're going to go make it all a zigzag, but that's fine, because I'll have enough clearance on the front that I can start pulling it. But yeah, so we do play a variety of games. We started stream with permadeath Prison Architect Warden mode. So Prison Architect, if you're familiar with the game, it is a prison tycoon game. They have a mode called Warden mode, where you play as the warden, you run around. You're not doing the thing where you're pie in the sky, like way over top, building everything. You got to run around and actually look at stuff to build it, which makes it dangerous because it means you're running among your prisoners, and they don't like you. So you gotta do all sorts of clever stuff to like put fences between you and the prisoners to stay alive. And on top of that, we played it in permadeath, where if the prisoners ever caught me and killed me, that'd be the end of it. We are still alive in that, and that was a lot of fun. We're winding down with this for the remainder of the stream. Been good times there. But otherwise, we've been playing a lot of RimWorld and Oxygen Not Included recently. So if any of that sounds good, maybe drop a follow, that way you can find your way back here in the future. But at the moment, we are driving across, I believe we're in California? We're in California heading towards Arizona, and I don't know where we are in regards to that route so far as how far we are. I'll get a sign here in a moment. Kingman and Flagstaff. Anyone know where those are? But so we're doing that. We are hauling a big heckin' thing behind us. It's like 40, 50,000 tons. Or 1,000 pounds, not tons. 1,000 pounds. You been to Flagstaff? I have no idea where that is. Oh, we're in Arizona. This is literally the Arizona line. Gotcha. Just asking, shouldn't the prisoners be focused on escaping prison instead of killing the warden? Right, but if they don't have the ability to escape, and the warden happens to be standing right next to them, and the warden has keys, you know, there's a process. Killing the warden might be an instrumental component of said escape plan. That doesn't mean any prisoner will beeline and immediately shank you in the game. Like, there has to be something setting them off, they make their escape move or whatever. But the thing is, when you have 90-something prisoners running past you, and one of them is going to do that, it doesn't matter. Because that one's the only one that matters, and you don't know which one it is. So the point is to spend as little time around the prisoners as possible in that. So I'd have like these little narrow corridors or fences that go through the middle of the prison. That there was like areas the prisoners would cross and I would cross, but they had like secure doors and all that. Just to keep us separated as much as possible. Times I couldn't, be away from their area, I would wait till they went to bed at night, and then I would do whatever I had to do. So it is an interesting way of playing Prison Architect. Alright, that is... I want to get that truck out of here. But yeah, for those who haven't played American Truck Simulator or watched it, it is an incredibly chill game. You kind of just get whatever you're shipping. You start taking across. It's got like incredible depth to it. You've got like all your different trucks and all that. Like I'm not a trucker or like a truck enthusiast or anything. But you get like all your trucks. You have your business, so you can hire other truckers to deliver stuff. You have your stuff you drive around. It's just kind of relaxing, like driving around the country and all that. Which is funny because I actually don't enjoy driving around much anymore. When I first got a car and all that, like the whole freedom thing was fun. But after spending enough time stuck in traffic, real life me, not big fan of driving. But the game, it's much nicer. Like if you make a minor mistake, you don't end up in the hospital or with like some ridiculous fine or car repair. It's not stop and go traffic for hours on end, sometimes going places in the game. Unlike real life where you can just sit there and gridlock and go, I'm not having fun, it's really hot outside, and I'm miserable. And it's also raining in Arizona, which does happen, but not a whole lot in where we're at in Arizona. We are quite literally driving through the desert. Why am I going like 80? My cruise control should be... Oh, my cruise control is set wrong. That's on me. But yeah, so it's just a chill, relaxing game. Drive around, have a good time. Listen to the engine, sometimes listen to the rain. Listen to Streamer. Great for winding down. And it's alright, we only got 257 more miles. And according to our thing, 4 hours and 15 minutes. Don't worry, those numbers are not accurate to what you'll actually experience. That's probably like 15 minutes or so, realistically, for this route. Because it was a really long route I grabbed. I actually really prefer the really long routes. The game kind of does like a time dilation thing between cities where time passes much faster and distances go much farther. And then you go in the cities and it's a little closer to reality while still also being compressed. Because one would imagine playing this game and having like a 9-hour drive, probably not a good time. And if you do want it, there is a mod for that. I have no interest in getting that mod, because that is ridiculous. Which is also interesting, because the day we did play American Truck Simulator, we actually did a stream like 8, 9, 10, 11 hours where we're doing that. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. We actually did a stream that was, you know, I typically stream for 11 hours a day. We're a little bit over now because I want to, you know, I want to wrap this one up, play this one through, that kind of thing. Which, don't worry, when we do get to that point, I will find someone else for us to raid that's doing good stuff. Don't know what we'll go after, but we'll figure it out when we get there. My apologies for that. That said, we still probably have 10-15 minutes at least, still. Yeah, I went ahead and started this one for recording, for putting on YouTube as well. I don't think this one's going to go on YouTube since we've talked about IT and streaming the whole time. It's like, yeah. I wasn't even sure I was going to go for this one anyways. Because it is a common practice for streamers to stream on Twitch and then take the video and put it on YouTube at least a day later. Because then it can live on YouTube as a potential way of, you know, getting a couple more people tuning into your channel here and there. Help grow the channel and all that. Which is the dream. I would read what county you're going in there. I couldn't read it in the rain. This is a heck of a rain for Arizona. Feels like it's a decent downpour and just going. Like, it's nothing for Florida, where I'm at, but for Arizona, this would be noteworthy. Alright, we're about to pass Flagstaff, well, the turn to Flagstaff and the Grand Canyon. We will not be taking that turn. Because unfortunately, a lot of places like that, the game does not have it as a place you can visit. Because I saw that there was they had Yosemite National Park, but there's roads that they just kind of block off that it's like, yeah, you can't go this way. Because it isn't a one-to-one like map of the U.S. or anything like that. They have like the major highways and that kind of thing. Sorry. Watch for wildlife. Cool. Yeah, we've apparently not visited most of the businesses in that area. That's one of the things I feel like I need to do some point in this game. You discover locations as you drive around, so you'll like learn of new cities. You'll find new dealerships, new auto repair places, and all that. And there's a lot of those times you see like those little cities. I'm like, yeah, I probably should just go in there when I don't have a trailer, and just do like just kind of go up and down the roads to like discover it all. Because there is an achievement, I believe, for either driving it's like either driving all the roads or almost all the roads. And I do like achievements. They are a good time. Yeah, I definitely did not need to stop for gas. That's fine. When you do stop for gas, and it's like you're doing a job for someone else, they pay for the gas, not you. And if it is your thing, I mean, you just have more gas for going into your next delivery, so it doesn't matter. There's no losing with refilling. The only loss is a little bit of time. All right. And then for the record, what I believe we'll be streaming tomorrow, which starts at 5 p.m. EDT, but what I believe we'll be playing is probably continuing our run we have going in Oxygen Not Included. It'll be that or Prison Architect is most likely what I'll be doing. Unless like something comes out of left field, like, you know, we had the other day that just out of nowhere, we had been talking about playing Timberborn for a while, and the devs reached out about a sponsorship, and I was like, okay, I was gonna play that game anyway, I'll just play it right now if you're gonna pay me to do it. Excellent. I like being paid for the things it's going to do anyways. It's great. It's the dream. Why couldn't that happen every time? Alright, we're almost there. And there is leveling mechanics in this game. They do stuff like they unlock missions that will... Like for long-range missions, if you unlock higher levels, they will have even longer drives at a better rate, and then they'll also give you a little bump in any long-range mission you do, period. There's a whole bunch of them, and they do stack with each other, so if you do a long-range mission with fragile stuff, then they'll give you, like, the bonus for fragile and the bonus for long-range. So that's where the money's at. Yeah, because here's, like, another area visit. Actually, no, I just drove by there. I didn't stop here. I think one of the reasons why I don't end up going to so many of these cities is I just go for like the longest range missions half the time. So all the cities in the middle I almost never end up going. I'll probably have to deliberately make a point to mix that up. Like make it a point to realize, like, find what cities I've skipped. Take a delivery specifically to that city, and then just drive around to check all the places when I'm there. But also probably do that after I get whatever the most impressive truck I can afford will be. Because I definitely get another truck of my own by now. But I kind of want to save up and just get like a truck that can do heavy hauls and long distance driving and all that, which I have a feeling is going to be an obnoxious amount of money. Probably like $1 million or something like that, maybe more. Oh, good. Is that a hairpin turn up there? Sweet. I'm holding my brake. Please brake. Okay. Alright. One last attempt to get me to crash in this one. I haven't damaged this payload. The last one I banged into a bunch of stuff. But this one we don't have any damage on it yet. At least I don't believe we do. I can check here real fast. Oh, nope, I lied. Tiny bit of damage on this one. Oh, yeah. I was going through the weight station. That's right. I pulled the turn too tight, and I had to, like, do a lot to, like, get it where I could reposition the trailer so I could actually make my turn. Better not make me pull that too tight, cop. Alright, we're fine. We went off the road slightly, but we didn't hit anything, so that's fine. Okay. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And we're going to take these last little back roads, and we will be there. Because we're 8 miles out, and it's not actually 8 miles. Thought those were headlights at that sign over there. All right. It also makes me wonder, with the achievement for driving the most of the roads and all that, would you end up having to get the DLC to get, or does that not count as part of the roads? Because it'd be kind of a cheap thing if it requires a DLC. Alright, so this is a rail export. I'm assuming we brought this here. I'm not bothering. They don't give you enough XP for it. They're like, here's like this tiny little bite of XP, like 25 XP. You're like, it's not worth it. Oh good, I gained a level. And almost another level. So yeah, as I mentioned, you get more stuff here. Alright. So we just keep taking these. Eventually I max out. Cool. Alright. So, with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording because